When they were doing the national anthem and I was on the other side, on the Celtics side, it was it's an honor to put the green on, and I was a little nervous before the game, I'm not gonna lie, but it all went away after a couple minutes out on the court and trying to get in game shape.
You didn't like our weather.
I'm used to it. I'm from Sweden, so that's nothing new to me. My teammates got me open, and I'm starting to learn the plays a little bit and how everybody playing, and it was fun out there. And like I said, my teammates got me some open shots, and when the first one goes in, it's always easier.
Garden Report Part 2, the Jerebko part of the show, the one that everyone's always looking forward to, of course. Once again, we're sponsored by Lynda.com and Peak Organic Brewing, our brand new sponsor for this show, very first one. And also, don't forget to like us on Facebook. People always forget that. You watch the show and you forget the part where you like us on Facebook. So don't forget that. And
I hope they're just forgetting.
I hope they are.
Right?
I mean, well, thank you to everyone that's liked our Facebook pages here. Our Facebook page is completely taken off, so that's been really great. Listen to us on iTunes. You can download the podcast there. You can also download the Celtics Beat podcast there. Obviously, a must listen. They had Sean Devaney, good friend of ours here, a good friend of the Celtics Beat show. So listen to that and then watch the rest of the show.
Does Sean like you on Facebook?
No, Sean and I don't poke each other on Facebook as much as we used to. It's really disappointing.
Weird.
Yeah. But I did run into it All-Star Weekend. We had a nice little chat. But so, let's get back to this. Let's talk about Jonas Jerebko.
Nice.
I'm trying to say he's my best friend, guys. Jesus.
Yeah, well.
So Jonas Jerebko has had a huge game. I don't think we've even mentioned Isaiah Thomas made his Garden debut. I feel like I had to say off the top of the show. But what really mattered was Jonas Jerebko made his Garden debut, and he was just as good as you could have imagined. I was sitting next to Dan Feldman, who used to cover the Pistons for a long time, and we were trying to figure out why didn't Jerebko's career really take off. And he said that it was really that while Jerebko got hurt, we all kind of know about that. The other part was Jerebko was kind of, when he came back from his injury, was kind of tired of being a role player, wanted to be more of a star player. And he really isn't quite that kind of guy. But tonight we saw that as a role player, he's fantastic. I mean, he's a good on-ball defender. He made some huge perimeter defensive plays, getting steals, stuff like that. And tonight the three was really falling for him. He went 4 for 6 from deep. Julian, I know you're a diehard Jonas Jerebko fan.
was just
I was going to say, what do you mean a role player? He is a star player now.
Right.
Here.
His
He's
name
our
is
star.
So why? Elaborate, please.
So why
Numbers
he
going
had
right up there soon.
20 minutes, 20 points.
Efficient.
It wasn't expected. He was playing center in that small ball lineup, and it worked. Is it going to work next game? I have no idea, but we're going to find out because Stevens is probably going to give it a whirl. It worked tonight. So, I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about his game.
Come on,
I've only seen so much of him. But, from what I have seen, he is a nice role player, like you said. He's a fantastic role player when he has nights like he did tonight. Shot 7 for 10 from the field. And, he was the leading scorer with 20 points. So it'll be interesting to see how Brad Stevens chooses to use him for the rest of the season because, he played a little bit in his first game with the team, then got a DNP, and now look what he does tonight. So obviously this game has won Jerebko some slack, and he's going to get some minutes soon. But with a rotation where they're trying to get James Young involved and where Kelly Olynyk is due back soon, there's only so many minutes to go around. So I think it's really going to be a kind of play it by night type of thing.
This is, it's going to get crowded, like you said. But this is a great opportunity for him. I mean, when he's stuck in Detroit, he's playing on a team where he's averaging a few points a game. He's not getting much. He's an afterthought. For most of the season, a bad team. They've obviously been playing better since they got rid of Josh Smith.
They didn't lose him. They threw him.
It was so hard for SVG to make that move.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, my poor little baby Josh.
We've lost him. No, but even the trade was an afterthought on the deadline because
a salary saver.
Right. That's what
thought to be.
That's what everyone thought originally was. They shave $1 million or whatever it is off. Everyone's talking about Thomas, but the reality is, Danny Ainge most likely got the news on Jared Sullinger. I asked Brad Stevens this everything. I wondered how much Jared Sullinger's injury had to do with a trade at all of another big man just for depth. And Stevens said it didn't really have any. It had nothing to do with it. Maybe he's probably telling the truth. I'm not saying he's a lie. But
what he also said about him not even knowing the depth of the Sullinger injury when they made that trade.
Right.
So
that's what I mean. They're not saying that's why they traded him, but it's like a perfect storm for Jerebko. Why are you looking at me like that? Because of the injury to Sullinger, Olynyk's clearly not healthy yet, and they're going to be careful with him. It's just good for him to get the playing time. And I think when you're stuck in a bad situation in Detroit, like he was in Detroit, you kind of just become a part of that, like what you're expected. Like you're not ever going to have I don't think he would have ever had a game tonight like he would have if he stayed in Detroit. Even if he got the opportunity, even if he got the same amount of minutes or whatever. I just think a new surrounding, sort of like a new life, maybe a coach or some teammates who think about you maybe differently, and they give you a little, I don't know, extra oomph in your step, and you go out there and you put up 20 points. I think it's good for him to get that, especially going into a contract year for him.
I like how you said it, like a new life. Like he's starting a whole life anew in Boston.
Yeah, he is. It's like a new relationship. You gotta have a crappy relationship, and you feel like maybe you're in that crappy relationship, you feel like crap, and then all of a sudden you meet this new girl and she thinks you're the best, and then maybe you start to gain some confidence, and then you go and you drop 20 points.
You forget how awesome you are.
Yeah, you
so
forget
you meet someone new, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Jonas is obviously super awesome, and we all know that. And he was disturbingly polite. I just said, "Hey, man, nice, good seeing you." And he's like, "Oh, thank you so much," as he walked by me. And I saw him do that to a bunch of other people.
Did he say it
too.
just like that?
So he did. He said it just like that, actually. So he even perks up his chest a little bit as he says it. But
he has reason to be happy. 7 for 10.
You know what's great is they have another versatile wing defender. I guess you can't really have enough of those. I mean, you look at the fast break points, 18-3 tonight. Although then again, I think anybody could have gotten 18-3 on the Knicks the way that they look tonight. But the Celtics added another guy that can once again put pressure on the ball, force turnovers, prevent the defense or the offense from getting into their sets. And I don't think Brad Stevens can really have enough of those guys. They will take as many of those guys as they could get. Tayshaun obviously was that kind of guy. He's been one of the best really in my lifetime at doing that. But he's of course a lot older now. They save a little bit of money, and they still get a guy that can fill a lot of the same roles. A lot of the same roles that Tayshaun can. That works out pretty well. And of course, Jonas has more long-term potential than Tayshaun does.
There's, like I said, a triangle up here. I think there is some interest with the Celtics if they can get him for the right price. I mean, they're not in a position to spend, to overpay for a 8th or 9th rotation.
We need more 8th men. You need at least 7 of those guys.
So it's going to have to be reasonable. But if they like what they see, and if he likes it here, and he likes Brad and he likes some of his teammates, then maybe they can come to something. Whereas they would have just bought out Prince for, and they would have just had an empty roster spot, which Prince would have loved, I'm sure. I don't know how happy he was to be traded back to Detroit. It sounds like he was a little bit. He was kind of like shocked, I guess.
Wasn't quite like KG's homecoming.
No, it wasn't the same. But Danny Ainge does what's best for the team.
Okay, well, let's see what's best for the show. Let's talk about the new backcourt rotation. So, we've seen it change a little bit. Obviously, Marcus Smart kind of got thrust into the starting point guard role eventually. I think they did a good job of kind of giving him time to kind of get ready for that role. And now that we have Thomas here, and by we I mean people that watch the Celtics, not the Celtics. Now that Thomas is here, the Marcus Smart
Celtics
role
do have Thomas also.
I'm saying we aren't the Celtics. Celtics, whatever.
We're not.
Okay, so Isaiah Thomas is here. Marcus Smart is the starting point guard now, and Marcus Smart looks so much more comfortable as the starting point guard because one, Turner at the 3 is doing a lot of point forward stuff. Avery Bradley is playing really well off the ball right now, and having Thomas as a penetrating ball handler has really freed up Smart when they play together, or when Smart isn't really needed to be the kind of penetration guy, the ball moving guy. It seems like Smart is finally kind of getting into a situation, Jimmy, where he can kind of play to his skill set to be more comfortable with his game.
Yeah, I think you just said it, comfort. I mean, I think he needs some stability too, and he needs to be around guys that complement his game. And I think when they traded for Thomas, one of the things everyone who knows anything about basketball said was these guys are going to complement each other. This isn't going to be like how it was in Phoenix when you had Thomas, Dragic, and Bledsoe, 3 guys that want to score. They all want to score, you know what I mean? And here you've got a guy like Thomas who wants to score and can score, and he scores in a multitude of different ways than somebody like Bradley, and Bradley who still is more of a defense-first type guy as opposed to Thomas. And then you've got Smart, who's also a defensive guy, but he's been improving his 3-point game over the past couple months. And like you said, I think just having those types of players around him is making him more comfortable, and he's learning. He's a rookie. He said it after the game today. Somebody asked him if he feels more like a veteran now than he did in the beginning. He was like, nah, I still feel like a rookie. So he's still got a lot of growing pains to get through, but I think having a guy like Thomas around him is going to really help his game.
Yeah, they're definitely going to play a lot of small ball, and when all 3 are on the floor at the same time, that's going to be, and has been, interesting to watch. Thomas is the point guard with that unit, so you know Smart and Bradley are both playing off the ball, and one of them is going to have to defend a 3. Fortunately, they're both very good defenders. They're both bigger guards, especially Smart, and they can get away with it. I think that's when the small ball, the 3-guard rotation is going to look best, when they're playing against a team where defensively they can get away with it. And when they get exposed against a team where they can't get away from it, that's when it's going to look a little bad. But you're just going to have to throw it out there and kind of learn with that unit as it goes. Practice time will obviously help when they get a chance to practice, but
if they get a chance to practice.
If they get a chance to practice. But you know,
that's a secret practice tomorrow.
that's the direction of the NBA. Teams are getting a little bit smaller, so having a unit where they can play these 3 guys together is great. And when they don't, going back to your points on Smart, Jared, he's the starting point guard. He's like the backup 2 guard. He's a lot of things. He's a true combo guard, sort of. And to see, you know, a rookie coming in and not have to play just the point guard or just the shooting guard and be so comfortable in these units, kind of have a defined role even though he doesn't have a defined position, if that makes sense, and you know, really gravitate and run with that has been pretty impressive from his part.
All right, I want to keep going with this, but we got to get out of here.
We gotta
so
move on.
let's just go quickly through box and ball. We'll start with you, boxing out, Julian.
We are boxing out, and we're going 3-point shooting. Celtics, 14 of 31 for 45.2%. The Knicks, not quite as good, 2 for 21 for 9.5%. 3-point shooting, huge difference in this game.
My boxing out is Evan Turner's stat line tonight. Triple-double, first career triple-double, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 10 points. Sorry, I screwed it up.
I guess we can't call him Evan Turner.
And he is going to keep his sneakers. I asked him after the game if he was going to keep his sneakers, so.
He wanted to give them to you so badly. Jimmy's going to
Real
sell
quick,
them on eBay
the only
later.
reason I asked was because he said he keeps his sneakers when he hits game winner. So I was like, all right, you're going to keep your sneakers because you had a triple-double. And he's like, what, you want them? And then everyone was like, dude, you just asked him for his sneakers? I'm like, no, I didn't ask him for his sneakers. I mean, but if he wants to give them to me, I'll take them.
Everyone did say dude. We all said dude.
Everyone's like,
a few people said bra, but I mean, it's the same thing,
Mostly
really.
dude.
Okay, so for me, boxing out, Isaiah Thomas, 11 free throws, because, I mean, come on, they need someone that can get to the line. They
Yes,
finally
they do.
got it, and that's why he's my baller of the night. Let's move through this Jimmy baller.
I'm just going to double down on Turner.
Boom.
Triple-double.
Jonas.
Jonas.
Jonas's
name.
world. We're all just
His
living
name.
in it.
It is.
And that's the end of the Garden Report, and we're all just enjoying it. So, for Julian and Jimmy, I'm Jared. This was the Garden Report, brought to you by lynda.com and Peak Organic Brewing. We will see you on Saturday morning. Peace out.
Yeah, honestly, Smarter told me, and he's like, one more assist. I was like, I already made the shot. He's like, you know I will. And then, ironically, you made the shot. So, you know, that was cool. It's definitely fun, and, you know, it's definitely, you know, great to do it. You know, when we won, you know, I was able to win, and we all played great, so that was huge.
How often do you come close to it?
I mean, I came close to feel a lot, you know, each season of my career. You know, sometimes shots didn't fall, or sometimes it was just like making the right play, and, you know, sometimes I have to take the shot or whatnot. But, you know, I've came close to a lot of them throughout my career, so you know, I'm fortunate enough to actually, you know, execute it the whole way this time.